Welcome again to everyone. My name is Angela Christiana. I am the Executive Director of the Calestous Juma Legacy Foundation. Welcome again to everyone. My name is Angela Christiana. I am the Executive Director of the Calestous Juma Legacy Foundation. Good day to everyone participating from many locations around the globe. I'm here in Boston, Massachusetts, where it's still dark out because it's very early in the morning. But I'm located not far from where Professor Calestous Juma taught at Harvard University in Cambridge, Massachusetts. I would like to invite you all to post in the chat where you are at in the world so that we can get a glimpse of the global community we're creating here today. So please feel free to share your greetings and where you're from in the chat. I would like to begin today by thanking the ACTS Governing Council and also give my sincere thanks to the staff of the ACTS Secretariat for all the excellent work they put into this seminar. It's been a great pleasure and an honor to participate in this partnership between the Calestous Juma Legacy Foundation and the African Center for Technology Studies in bringing the Professor Calestous Juma seminar series to life. And wasn't it wonderful to hear a few words from Prof. Juma just a few minutes ago? I think it's important that we bring him into the virtual room with us each time we convene. So thank you all to all of the panelists and presenters for making time in your schedule to be here, to share your work and your expertise with us all. I'm personally looking forward to hearing from you and learning more about how science, technology, and innovation are aligned with sustainable development goals, and in particular, with regards to sustainable fisheries and aquaculture in the Lake Victoria Basin. Part of the planned programming of the Calestous Juma Legacy Foundation is to pursue practical development and capacity building related to the research areas we'll be hearing about today. While our foundation is still in its early stages of organizational development, the foundation's mission is to advance economic transformation and sustainable development in Kenya and ultimately in Africa more broadly through the use of science and technological innovation. Our primary strategy is to help local communities develop and implement innovative solutions to health, educational, food security, environmental, and employment challenges identified by local experts and community members, with an initial geographic focus of the Bunyala region, which was Professor Calestous' home area. Calestous believed that all human development ultimately takes place on the ground in communities. The policies and investments that he spent his life working so hard for were a necessary framework, but unfortunately he ran out of time to see that development happen in his home area. During his last months, Calestous refined his thoughts on local development in the Bunyala region. These reflected his beliefs in the power of innovation and technology, the core functions of a healthy environment, and the urgent need for the empowerment and employment of women and youth. He had promised his community that their son would not disappear into the wide world like so many before him, that their commitment to his education would not be wasted. And we at the Calestous Juma Legacy Foundation intend to make good on his promise. In my closing remarks today, I'll be sharing a little bit more about how our foundation is progressing and what we intend to focus on specifically. Some of you know that Professor Juma was a master at Twitter. So I would also like to invite you all to follow us on Twitter today. I will post our Twitter handle in the chat, and I'll be live tweeting throughout our seminar today. Perhaps we can capture some of Calestous' Twitter magic if we all tweet, retweet, and amplify what we learned today. With that, I would like to hand it over to Professor Tom Ogata to share his welcoming remarks. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks very much, Angela, for those very nice and warm and kind words. Our distinguished speakers and panelists that are present here today, members of the press, distinguished participants, and we are delighted that we are currently having 63 of you. We are almost reaching the 70-80 targets that we had for today. Ladies and gentlemen, mine is to say good morning and good afternoon, wherever you are. And on behalf of the Governing Council and staff of the African Center for Technology Studies, allow me to send all of you a warm welcome to this second seminar of Professor Calestous Juma seminar series on knowledge and innovation for development, which has been organized by the African Center for Technology Studies in collaboration with Calestous Juma Legacy Foundation. And for the benefit of those attending this series for the first time, allow me to mention that until his untimely death in December 2017, the application of science, technology, and innovation to sustainable development, especially in developing countries. His work focused on analyzing how knowledge and innovation could be harnessed for development in the context of institutional change in socio-economic systems. His initiative promoted this agenda through advanced science, technology, and innovation policy research, provision of high-level science technology advice, and the promotion of the conservation of biodiversity. He founded African Center for Technology Studies in 1988, where his initial developmental ideas were nurtured. ACT has become today a leading intergovernmental science, technology, and innovation think tank, and mandated to strengthen the capacity of African countries and institutions to harness science, technology, and innovation for sustainable development. In pursuit of this mission, ACT has been instrumental in enlarging the range of policy choices for sustainable development in Africa through high-quality research, outreach, and policy dialogues. For example, ACT's work influenced industrial property legislation and policy in Kenya, environmental impact assessment standards in Eastern and Southern Africa, and the formulation of bioenergy and biofuel policy in Eastern and West Africa. ACT was the first to organize an international conference to discuss options that African countries could adopt to mitigate the impact of climate change. It also played a major role in the negotiation for the Convention on Biodiversity. Due to its excellent work, ACT has earned top rating among the environmental think tank in Africa and in the world. For example, in 2016, ACT was rated amongst the top 3 most influential think tank in climate change globally, and number 1 in Africa. ACT is currently implementing its 6th strategic plan, which we started 2019, and we are doing the last year, this year, and the plan is dedicated to Professor Calestous Juma as a way of laying the foundation for his immortalization. As a result, allow me just to mention 3 points. The first is that we at ACT have remained true to Professor Juma's original vision and attention on STI policy research and its application for sustainable development. And this current strategic plan and the 7th one that we are currently finalizing are focused on the core thematic areas that were always seen as the most important by Professor Juma. This includes agriculture and food security, which is actually the theme of today's seminar, climate change, energy, digital economy, and the role of science, technology, and innovation in addressing the challenges that are affecting these sectors. Secondly, to mention that we have strived to work very closely with Calestous Juma Legacy Foundation as a way of enhancing synergy in our efforts to build the foundation of CJ Legacy. We have signed an MOU between the two organizations, which guides our collaboration, including the organization of the CJ Seminar series. And finally, to mention that this second seminar series on steering STI to achieve sustainable development goal with a focus on agriculture, and we have seen how important various aspects of agriculture is to the economic development of Africa, including the issue of agriculture that we have just shared. And we all know that Juma was very enthusiastic on the use of science, technology, and innovation for sustainable development. And for those who know ACT even better, we have drawn our vision from this. And then finally, therefore, to indicate that when we launched the seminar series in August this year, we mentioned that this was not a one-off activity, that there will be a series of follow-up seminars for the next 3 years. And we aim to keep this discussion going and focus, and therefore the topics will always be around the work of Professor Juma. And I need to mention in January, we'll come up with a complete calendar for 2022, which will provide for at least one seminar every quarter. And we already identify for March 2022, which is really the next seminar, will be on digital economy. And with those few remarks, we would want therefore to declare this seminar opened, and to wish you all very wonderful and successful deliberation. And with that, then allow me to invite Professor Calestous Juma, who I know will be introduced, but just allow me to mention that he was at one point the PhD supervisor of the late Professor Calestous Juma, and he has prepared also a memoir, which he will be talking about tomorrow in his opening remarks during the second day of this seminar. So microphone over to you, Professor Norman Clark.